YouTube thinks it's excellent.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Getting started here, but it looks like we have almost no bandwidth for some reason. So I don't know what's going on. We'll see what happens. If we have to restart it, we will. But give it a minute, see if we can get it to work. It's not me, it's YouTube. But see if they can get it to work. Yeah, Peekaboo, what's up? You're right. Choppy already. It's showing me that almost nothing is getting through. So. What's up, Blort Slumpson? Hey, what's up, Brian? Cycling Brian's in here. Let me go back to the beginning and see. I saw we had Dimitri in here, and Rock Easterwood was in here. Man, I hope the audio is coming through because definitely I know the pictures are going to be choppy. I could see it. So, John Spam joined the channel at 105. I just got an email saying we have over 100 channel members, which is cool. And then this week the channel hit 20,000 subscribers, which is insane to me. So, Laura Sambi, what's up? Donald, oh, you said you're riding down in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I did some work in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I absolutely loved it down there. But I didn't get to ride much, and I knew about, they told us about all the mountain bike trails and all that stuff. I was doing like a Night Foundation thing where we were like touring the city and they were talking about it, but yep, we're getting like
Buckeye
no
Jen subscribed
signal,
to the channel.
unfortunately. What does it look like on your end? Is it all
It's choppy.
choppy? Yeah. I mean, I could deal with choppy as long as you guys are getting the audio and it comes back around, but it's showing it like nothing. And again, like I always said, we're hardwired down here, so it's not us, it's YouTube. But Robert Swade from Detroit. I saw Pudgy's in here. Peekaboo is saying it's choppy, so let's see. Oh man, you guys blew it up real quick. Man, we got nothing. We got no bandwidth. John, the new channel member, you're from Portland. Nice. Matt, what's up? You said the picture's better now? Man, it's showing me like we've got nothing. Yeah, so. Blaine Wrigley. Blaine from Maryland. What's up, Blaine? Thanks, Cycling Brian. And William. Jade Andy. Yeah, we got nothing. Matlin from Georgia, what's up? Scott Copeland said enjoying a Johnny Walker double black for this one. Enjoy your day, my friends. Yeah, I have a well, I have it in a beer koozie, but I have an Oktoberfest from Collision Bend, which is right up on the Cuyahoga River, right by the port of Lake Erie. Whoops. Fredtoberfest? I didn't read what they were, if this is a true Martin or not, but yeah. $20K. I think Pudgy was probably number like 38 because when I started doing like bike videos and live streams, the channel had like 35 literally subscribers, and I think when I started live streaming, which that anniversary just came up because in my memories on photos it showed like the photo I remember when I did the original live stream countdown. Yeah, I had about 35 subs, and Pudgy was at the first live stream. I remember asking him, like, how do we know each other and all this stuff. But yeah, so he's definitely in the top, would say top 40 subscribers, because this channel's been around for a long time before then. There were beer reviews and photography stuff, but yeah. What's up, John York? How's it going? Hey, Patty. Yeah, we're still showing that we're getting no signal. Yeah. Malin said it's going smooth. Okay, we'll see what happens. David said, let's see, join this or watch the debate. Yeah, and so there's been times in the past when there's been political things going on, and I'm like, should I live stream when that's happening? And then I'm like, you know what? For people who don't want to watch that stuff and just want to read the headlines tomorrow, we're going to go ahead. There was one time where I didn't go up against like the State of the Union. Then I'm like, it was Trump era, I think, and I was like, no one wants to watch that. Or if they do, they're probably not trying to watch stuff about bikes anyways. So Matt said, vote SRAM. How about the new Campy groups that dropped today? Campy, what do they call it? Super Record S. What a stupid thing. I don't know. Campy feels like they've lost their way. Like, did you see that? They still called it Super Record, but then they made it cheaper and out of cheaper materials, and it was like matte black, and they said they like took away some of the high end stuff. So why not just call it Record, or like take it down to like Chorus or whatever they do? But they still tried to pretend like it's above Dura-Ace, and what's SRAM's top of the line? Red.
Red.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like so when you watch Pathless
Paddy
Pedal,
Redbeard
or like
became
he
a
has,
member.
like,
Paddy Redbeard
Rivendell
celebrates
on
43 months of membership,
Grant,
20k.
or any of
That's
those guys.
worth a
They talk about why doesn't
and
Shimano still
a
just sell some
fish
like vintage
sailboat.
style stuff for us who want to do manual stuff. I feel like Campy's the company that should do that. They don't have the budget or the researchers to compete with Shimano or SRAM, so like they're the ones to me who should be like, there's not even a Campy group set in the World Tour anymore. Like, why don't they just make beautiful components for people who want beautiful looking components and make them at a number of tiers to try and compete? Because the reviews of the last Super Record, the electronic shifting, which I don't use electronic shifting, I've tried it out, but why try and compete with Shimano and SRAM? I just don't think it's there. Like, I get that there are some people who are like Italian aficionados and they're going to put Campy on whatever they buy and they'll pay those premiums, because the new group set came out at $4,200 and they called it their budget group set. Like, like, I don't know. It's weird to me. I'm like, build beautiful silver mechanical stuff for people who want beautiful like bike components, right? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think when I catch up on all this stuff. Oh, Bubber said I should just bring Otis down to have a bike debate. Yeah. I will say this before I forget, before we get too far into it. So next Tuesday, we are going to do like a bike photo stream. And we used to like do that a lot in the past just with every stream. But so if you're in the Discord, and someone could drop the link with exclamation Discord, there'll be instructions in there, but they're going to be day of. So next Tuesday, I'll give the instructions, and then the chat where you can post the photos, will open up like an hour or two before the stream. The point being that I don't want people just to drop photos in there and then they're not there in the chat and then they can't answer any questions about it. So yeah, next week we are going to do we're just going to show everyone's photos who wants to be involved. And like I said, the whole instruction thing will drop the day of the stream, so a week from today. So yeah, we'll get back into that. And I think it might be like kind of overflow. So if it is, we might do 2 in a row, where if we can't get to everything, maybe we'll do 2 weeks of bike photos. But yeah, anyways. David, nice. Oh, Peekaboo, you said you've had your account since 06. Yeah, I need to go back because I did post a music videos, the first thing on this channel, but I don't think it's quite that old. I think it's, I'll have to look, but it's one of Pete's. I did a little thing for Pete, like his music video, I think is the first thing on his channel. So. Oh, are we getting any audio where we can hear? Let me check that. Ah, damn it. It's this thing. Sorry, Patty, if I talked over your channel member. What does it say? 43 months. Hell yeah. And then, Patty, you're probably moving into your riding season now, right? Being in Arizona. I know the Arizona guys don't ride in the summer. But he said it's worth a banana and a tuna boat. Yeah, sorry. I think I got it on the right setting now. Let me see. Let me try one more. Yeah. So you guys say it's coming through. It's showing me there's barely any single. I had Pudgy just said I talked through Patty's super chat. Yeah, dang it.
I don't think that was a super chat.
Well, it's a members chat, but now it actually
still
does.
comes up?
Yeah, now it does. It didn't used to read them out loud, but now it reads them out loud. Oh, I've got you in the background in this next shot, so just don't do anything weird, Dave. I also do have a
You're
full,
just now noticing that?
yeah. I also do have a full shot of you, so. SRAM orange if we're voting. I'm not a SRAM guy. Yeah, sorry guys. Hey Dennis, thanks. All cyclists are rich. Facts. Oh, a debate. Me and Yonda versus Brad. You and Brad. Yeah, Brad's actually in Cape Cod right now, so I've noticed he's done some riding out there. He's with buddy Zach, who rides, and then Mike Maris, who's been on the stream a bunch. He's the metal sculpturist. If some of you OGs probably remember him being on here from our vacation videos. He also did the trip we did out to the Finger Lakes. But yeah, they're out there for a friend's birthday, and they're on vacation. So Dennis said you can't seem to be able to get into the Discord. I think it takes an email and a password. Yeah, I don't know. So it just wants you to sign up. But again, I have it turned off by default so everyone knows. You won't get any push notifications if you join, and you don't need to download anything. So if you're on a computer, you could just go to the website, put in a password, email, and you can use it. If you want to use it on your phone, then you have to download the app, or I don't know if you use it through a browser. I've never tried it. So. Patty said the mornings and evenings are starting to cool off. Nice. What's up, Davey? How you doing? Oh, Patty, you got COVID. COVID is like been hitting like crazy around here. Like I've heard, but it's really weird because it's been so adjacent for me so far. Like so many people have been getting sick, but they've been talking about someone they know who's been getting sick. It hasn't directly affected me or my circle yet. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time. It was funny because like I skipped, like I mentioned, like Hodag was last weekend and we didn't go this year. And then I was just thinking like, man, if I had planned on that and I got sick, I'd be so bummed. Then I'm like, now I'm in the like mentality where we're going to go out to Nutmeg in October. And I'm like, man, I'd rather get sick now than get sick when I'm going to go on vacation. But I'd rather not get sick at all, so whatever. Oh, Davey said in southern Arizona it's still 96 at 6 p.m., so. Yeah, anyways, I just made the title of this video because the last video I posted yesterday, like, for the size of this channel, blew up. And it was funny because I talked about me and Aaron were sitting in the coffee shop in Peninsula on Saturday or Sunday, and a number of roadies walked in with their road clipless, which, again, don't care whatever you want to wear. But, like, helmets with the chin straps done up, and we're like, and one walked in, then the next one walked in, then the next one walked in. And so when I made that remark in the video, I thought it was funny because a lot of people commented, they're like, well, I leave my helmet on so I don't have to carry it. And I was like, oh, I never thought about carrying it. I leave it out there on my bike, And I actually leave it as a secondary lock. So I put it on the down tube and then I lock it through the front tire. And it's one of those things because we usually, where I live and when I'm here, I don't really lock my bike with like really hardy locks. And I'm like, it's one extra thing to slow someone down. So I've never thought about the idea of like my other option would be to hold my helmet. But even when I've gone into places where I have like accidentally brought it in, like I have my camera bag or I have my belt loop, I take it off and I hook it there. So I've never just thought of the idea of like it needs to be on my head or I can't handle it. So let me know, anyone watching, do you guys walk into stores with your helmet on? And even if you do, like the uncomfortable part of the helmet, like, yeah, you're used to it being on your head, so I get that. But when you undo the chin strap, isn't that like the worst like part of wearing a helmet? I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, when me and Aaron are sitting there in like the Roadies and full road skin tight kit and like the road clipless shoes are walking around, side eye that every other customer gives them is noticeable. So I don't know, because someone also said like, well, if you take off your helmet, you're gonna have helmet hair, and I'm like, the looks you get for wearing a helmet indoors got to be way worse than the looks you get for having helmet hair, right? I don't know. It's a total look of derision, and another person commented about like the idea of like if I wear my helmet inside, I'm showing that I went to the grocery store on my bike, and it's promoting cycling, and I'm like, I don't think it is. I said, keep doing what you're doing. Like, if you feel like this is advocacy and you feel like it's working and it's comfortable for you, do it. But I'm like I said, me and Aaron sitting there and just watching the absolute derision and making us look like others and people that are different. That was way more noticeable to me. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, I'm on live chat. Good. I moved it. Dennis chiming in again from the Berg, aka Pittsburgh. Also, yeah, we will be in Pittsburgh on Friday, as mentioned. So, Chris FYB, channel member, planned a route. We're going to do 25-ish miles, 1,200 feet of climbing. We're going to meet at Trace Brewing in Pittsburgh on the edge of Lawrenceville at 5 p.m. on Friday. So, if anyone's around, join us. We are going to drop in also the Discord a finishing location, which he hasn't brought up yet. He's doing all the planning, which thank God, and thank for him, because I'm not from Pittsburgh. So within 5 miles is kind of our idea of the finishing spot. So if you can't make a 5 p.m. start to do the bike ride, we will have a spot for some drinks post-ride. And then basically what I'll do, I think, in the Discord is we'll stop at some point and give an ETA on when we'd be at the last spot. So, yeah. Second, Brian said, I remember 10 years ago when riding on a bike with 32s was considered plush. Roadies were still rolling on 23 millimeter pizza cutters. Yeah. And this is the other thing I said, like, that was the point of the video. Like, getting out and riding a road bike, like, there is certain things about the feeling that I like. I just don't like being limited in where I could ride anymore. And I've also noticed that I don't want to have to pick my line. And then, especially in traffic, and a number of people brought this up, they're like, I'm getting pushed over sewer grates, potholes. I don't want to be riding on those narrow tires when I can't pick my line. So, but the other thing is, Tadej Pogacar won the Tour de France this year on 32 mil tires. So, a number of people said, like, not a number, like 2 or 3 were like, well, if wider tires are faster, why don't the pros ride wider tires? And the pros are slower to adapt to everything. They were like the last one to disc brakes, but they are moving up. Like, again, the Tour was won on 32 mil tires. That would have seemed insane just 5 years ago. So they'll be riding 36s in the near future. So Jan Hein was right. Dennis said, I usually strap my helmet to my backpack when I bike commute. Yeah. Patty, you said you wear your helmet inside all the time if you're running errands. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I just never thought about it. Like, it's one of the first things I do. I get off my bike and I take my helmet off. I always wear caps, though, too. So, I don't know. That's what Cycling Brian just said. Unbalanced said, maybe they got used to wearing a helmet all the time while riding the short bus. Me and Aaron were joking about like hitting the wall and being like, I think it's safe. It's safe enough in this place. You know, you pull it off. William said, I use the helmet lock to lock up a wheel too. A friend introduced me to the Velcro straps. I also think too, like, because nobody said it, but I assume some people are worried their helmet is going to get stolen, which I've never met anyone who's had their helmet stolen, even in like the city. But if you're using any kind of lock, you just put the lock through the helmet as well, right? Isn't that what you used to do?
Hmm?
You just put the helmet through the lock.
I never wear a helmet.
You don't wear a helmet, yeah. This guy raw dogs it. Did you ride when you lived in New York City?
Uh-huh.
And you never wore a helmet out there either? No. So New York. Oh, David was saying if you're wearing road clipless, you need to keep the helmet on because you're probably going to fall down and hit your head. I just, that's how Apple and Google AI work. I just summarized your message too. I'm your guys' AI. Or just I guess. Because I'm not artificial, I'm real. Get it? Fuck. Is this thing on? I'm a little drunk. I photographed cocktails tonight. I've been drinking since 3 o'clock. Gonna be straight with you. Anyways.
You don't, going back to not necessarily the helmet, but you don't like chain up your bike?
I use what we call honesty locks. Otis calls them honesty locks. They're like a piece of plastic and then just like a little, like very thin.
It's like a covered wire.
It's something that would just keep someone from walking away with your bike. But if someone wanted to smash that thing, they could steal it. And then if I'm going to like work for the night, like say I know my bike's going to be out of sight, because usually when I'm doing that, we're going into a restaurant, we're sitting on a patio. It's winter. Mm-hmm. People don't want to steal a bike in the winter around here. But I will bring the old style cable locks, which are defeatable too. But they're like the wrapped wire that would take like bolt cutters to break at least. So if I know my bike's going to be sitting outside out of sight, I'll bring one of those. When we went to New York City, or I've been in Philly, then people bring U-locks, so we borrow key U-locks. But yeah, around here, it's usually just like the cheap, really cheap, like I said, honesty lock. It just means someone can't walk away with your bike, and that's why I also put the helmet around it. It's just someone jumped on it, or like I think it's Graham Peterson who also wrote in his book. He was like, put your bike in a super hard gear so someone just can't roll off.
Even that, like I'd traveling around downtown a lot for work. I see people that making judgments, but people that bike does not belong to you.
Yeah,
and it's just the fact of them taking it, even if they were to throw it in the bushes, a mile down the road or whatnot. You still don't have a bike.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't know. As I said, if I'm in a city, I bring a heavier lock, but Peekaboo asked if I watched Henry Wildberry's latest video. I did. I had it on while I was editing and doing a bunch of work. It was like way more technical than I care about. So I'm glad he did the research, but it's like all the articles I've read about low pressure, and it's just like, and he's like, I don't keep my pressure that to a T that the video mattered as much to me, where it's like I've decided 35 is what works in 44 millimeter tires for me, like 35 psi. I'm going to squeeze the tire, be like, that's close enough. If it feels way off, I'm going to put the pressure in it till it gets up to 35. That was more like behind the scenes of how tire pressure calculators work and all that stuff, which is just beyond my interest. You know what I mean? Like, I've realized this a lot too about even when I got a certain number of subscribers on YouTube, maybe it was 500. I don't know. I'm like, I need to know tons of technical stuff about bicycles and all this. Then I realized I don't. I'm someone who just rides bicycles. I make videos about riding bicycles. I learn stuff from riding them. I learn stuff from reading about them. But I'm not that nerd who is ever, and I don't even mean that as a disparaging term, that is going to be the guy who is the behind the scenes coming up with these numbers. So it was interesting to hear some of his thoughts and stuff in the background, but it's I don't care. 35 works for me. I'm going to try and make sure I have 35 out of 42 mil tire, type thing. What's up, Obfuscarity? Colby said, I'm starting to switch all my bikes from SPD to flats. Nobody makes decent wide cycling shoes. Yeah, I know. I've heard Pathless Pedal talk about that a number of times. I'm like 6'1" something with like narrow feet, so it's never been an issue. But I've always ridden flat pedals, so I've never even thought about it. So I ride Vans old schools. So Colby Cheese said, I commute by bike and always carry my helmet. I don't leave anything on my bike on a college campus. Yeah, have you found that though? Like, do you know, like, are there other professors or people who have had their helmets stolen? Because I just don't, I feel like bike thieves are after bikes. Like, even, I know when I first started riding with friends and we'd go into bars, I used to bring my water bottles in because I was like, so someone said, like, what if someone pisses in them? Then I realized nobody touches your shit. They don't care. Like, if they're gonna steal anything, it's your bike. They don't steal your stuff. Like, no one cares about bike tools. Like, and again, this is in Akron, Ohio, not New York or Philly or LA, or San Francisco, which might be different cases. But just for me, I don't worry about what's in my bike bag anymore. Once in a while, like say I have like my Rafa rain jacket, maybe I would grab that out in a spot where I couldn't see it. But even that for me is rare anymore. So nobody just ever messes with their stuff. So
you're always usually in a group, though.
Yeah, my bike's not left alone as much. So, and when we are like even when we're traveling, someone goes and checks on the bikes. Like when we were doing Ohio Deer and we like ate inside in Syracuse, like me and Ben were like our bikes were out of sight and we were in a part of town that we didn't feel we were eating that comfortable. We did check on our bikes a couple times. But those had full touring loads with our camping gear on the first night of a 5-day camping trip where you'd be screwed if you lost all that stuff. Party's ever going old school sometimes. Colby, I can't remember what. I'm trying to remember. I know you've told me before, but what campus are you on? I know you've told me that before. So, Dave. Oh, whoops. Sorry, I messed this up. I highlighted like everything. I'm trying to get it on highlighted. I was a messenger for a while, and when I was working, I just kept it on all day. Most of the times, that carried over to bar hours. You never know. So, I mean, I get if you're a messenger, you're running in and out of places. The idea of taking it off would be a waste. Like, when we stop, we're having beers, we're having dinner, and all that stuff. So it's like I'm not gonna wear my. It's not gonna. I never wear my helmet. Yeah, I don't wear my helmet off the bike. I didn't always. But then again, I'm like Dave was saying, I come from someone who never wore a helmet, period. And then, yeah, I don't know. Benny said, Tim, I live on an island in Michigan that is all gravel roads. You got to come bring your bike buddies. It's great riding. Yeah, I was just saying, I've total FOMO on not being in Michigan or going up there Michigan this weekend because last year we were up in Wisconsin. But we did stop in Michigan, a number of places that were amazing. Michael Stark, what's up? You said, I like carrying my helmet into the store because I use it to hold everything that I'm not leaving on your bike. Oh, so yeah, stuffing everything in the helmet. Yeah. Yeah, I guess like I said, I ride with bags, so everything's in bags for me. 2 locks, 1 bike. Yeah, Tracy, no, I didn't go to Hodag. That's what I was talking about. Obfuscurity said, thanks for the distraction from politics. I'll read about it tomorrow. I don't need to see it in real time. I teach their own. I can't watch Trump. Just so annoying. Pudgy said Shimano makes really good wide SPD shoes. Huh. David said, did I enjoy Boston? I did. Every time I've gone to Boston, I love the history. I'm a total nerd about that stuff. I love the architecture. But it's always been like either really late in the fall or over in the winter. And the aggression there I found to be horrible. And so when I made the last video, I was talking about how I was so surprised that it didn't feel like that. A bunch of people from Boston commented, they're like, it's different in the summer here. They're like, a lot of they're like a lot of the regulars just kind of stay out of downtown. It's touristy and it just changes. So I don't know. That's what I found. I was also way more comfortable. It's the first time I've experienced Boston from the bike. And the first time I went there, I was like, I would never ride my bike in this city. It is so insane. And this is from somebody who's comfortable riding my bike in New York. And then I actually felt more comfortable on my bike than I did in the car with my friends. So, yeah, I had a great time there. And seeing it and seeing the harbor and everything in the summer was totally different. So, yeah. Michael Stark said, I remember a Pathless Pedal video where Russ said he had a multi-tool taken out of his frame bag and he was pretty disappointed. Huh. Yeah. And again, like I said, I'm biased because I live in a place where it's just smaller and people don't feel like people are stealing your bike stuff. They don't care. Tracy said, I do reg bri in Iowa in the summer. People leave S-Works, and custom titanium bikes lying around during lunch. Same thing, like the roadies that I was talking about, who were wearing their helmets into the coffee shop on, I said that was Saturday or Sunday, they all had super expensive carbon bikes that were just leaning against the wall outside the coffee shop. So again, to me, that was part of the whole thing, is like, because a lot of people are like, well, they don't want to get their $400, $500 helmets stolen, but they had $5,000 bikes leaning up against the wall, you know. So I'm like, man, we still have no signal. Is it playing at all? It looks like it is.
Where are you looking?
Yeah.
YouTube's happy, so.
Yeah. David said, on a college campus, I wouldn't trust anyone not to mess with a helmet or my water either. I also think that is a difference with when you're around a bunch of kids versus when you're around a bunch of adults, right? Because then you just get mischief. So I don't know.
Well, that's what I would be concerned with across the board. You know, Kent had a huge issue with, like, tires getting tacoed just for no reason, just to be a dick.
Yeah, kids being kids. It's funny because I've always heard this around Akron too, like in like certain parts of the town where like we put out these like nice chairs, and then it's always like those people just threw them into the canal, and it's like those people didn't throw them into the canal. Kids threw them into the canal. Like troublemakers threw them into the canal. Like, don't be a racist. Like, you know, don't be like, no, they don't. Those people don't appreciate what we put out for them.
Right.
It's like, no, like. Nobody's done anything for this neighborhood, and the kids who are out at night were doing what kids do. You know what I mean? It's like
kids suck.
It's not those people. Like the people who are sitting out there and barbecuing now that you put in a fire pit and like grills aren't the people who threw the chairs into the canal. They're doing what everybody wants to do, is enjoying the space. It's like
right
at Krogan Park, like grew up in Fairlawn or rich, upper middle class, you know, area suburb. And it's like when things got destroyed, it was kids. Nobody was like, well, look, rich white suburban people can't be trusted with their, you know, Adirondack chairs. You know? So, Colby, you're at Kansas State. All right, that's right. Yeah. Manhattan, Kansas, the Little Apple. Nice. I feel like Greg Bry, Pudgy said, is the nutmeg where no one is going to mess with your stuff. Yeah, in all the videos I watch, that's definitely the vibe I get. So, but it's also like, you know, where the word critical mass comes from. You get a ton of people doing the same thing, and you're safer. And we've said that around our town too. They used to block off the park that's right downtown Akron, and like when there wasn't an event, it felt like you weren't supposed to go in there. You got funneled in there, and there were no lights on. And it was dark at night. And it's like, would you leave your bike sitting around here? And it's like now they're rebuilding it now, so you can't go in there at all. But once they started to take down the fences and put up lights and people started to use it, and it's like, oh, now I'll lock my bike up here and feel comfortable with it. It's like when you try to keep the 1% out, you keep everybody out. When you try to let everybody in, things become safer. And that is like totally proven. It's every European town square. You know what I mean? It's Manhattan. It's all of the island of Manhattan, you know, right now. Like When was it scary and dangerous? When was the Lower East Side scary and dangerous? When it was dark and nobody was around, right? You know, so. Jeffrey said, when I used to work at a grocery store, the bike went dairy cooler. I think there's a couple missed words in there. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Robert Graves? I know we always chat in the comment section. Not sure. Have we chatted in the live streams before? He said, I will walk into a Walmart with my helmet on because I don't care about appearance. We just wore those stupid masks. Yeah. True. Yeah. I mean, and again, I was saying, like I said in the video, they might have looked. I was wearing like my EF, cap, and they might have looked over. And then when I rode away on my 1996 Teamerin with a Velo Orange happy stem and drop bars and the tri-spoke carbon wheels that Pudgy gave me, they were like, look at this fucking goofball. Like, I don't pretend like, yeah. Dave, talking about Boston again. All the college kids are away and the bike infrastructure is really starting to take off. Yeah, I mean, like I said, my buddy moved out to Boston just a couple years before the pandemic, and that's the first time I went out there. And even since like 2018, 2019, I have totally noticed a change in like how much space they've given bikes in Boston. And I also do feel like once you start to do that and people get used to it, it's very like New York City or Paris, like where once cars are used to bikes and cars know they're not going anywhere, they give you the space. And even when I wasn't in the bike infrastructure in Boston, when I was in the crazy downtown streets, I just felt like that they weren't trying to cut you off. They were just mad if they had to turn out onto a road and another car was cutting them off. So Donald said the St. Lawrence Greenway Trail from Ganake, Ontario to Brockville, Ontario is fantastic for a close Canadian ride that still feels like Canada. Huh. I've been watching a YouTube channel that Large Marge pointed out to me. No, that's not Ontario. That's in Ottawa. Bike Breath, which is a really good channel. So I should pull his channel up here and drop a link for you guys. But we've been chatting in the comments too lately, and it's very similar vibes to what we do on this channel. Pathless Pedal, Ronnie Romance, just more non-competitive, fun bike ride type stuff. Or what's the guy you guys turned me on to from Korea? Probably Riding, kind of just those chill bike ride vibe videos. So yeah, and when I think of Canada, when I hear the city names, I usually know what I'm talking about, but then I get confused on the provinces. So you guys thought you were avoiding politics. Michael said, never had an issue on your campus, small town. Then again, I don't leave my bike on campus overnight. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I could say the place that we ride our bikes all the time, both weekend rides were out there. Kent, that's where I've had my only bike ever stolen, but it was down in the lobby of one of the dorms. So I don't know. But again, that was late 90s because I'm getting old. But yeah. Clark Hall. My Trek 930 got stolen from Clark. So. Barrio Bikes, Tom said, I think that depends on the college campus too. You work on one but don't feel it would be an issue. Now off campus, people coming on campus, different story. Yeah, and I don't know. Someplace we go all the time, Ohio State, Columbus, where a giant neighborhood mixed with campus. I think I would be locking my bike down there. And my friends who live down there definitely, when they're riding their nice bikes, don't leave them out of sight. And a lot of them own single speeds and like the kind of cheap vintage like towny bikes that you would like make when you're going to leave your bike outside, build up, type thing. So it's an issue down there for sure. Yeah, different. New topic. Horrible things you did as a kid. I don't think I want to get into that. Robert, yeah. You guys not seeing the chat? Tabor, you seen the chat pop up in the live stream? Still show me no.
I don't know. Well, you're like, no, the chat's working.
All right. It's clear no one. Yeah, I don't go to Walmart anyways, so yeah. I mean, you can't ride your bike over there. Where our Walmarts are all those like super commercial districts that I avoid like the plague. I'll pay a few extra bucks not to shop at places like Walmart. So. Oh, nice. Dave said he ran into Lael Wilcox when she was coming through Amarillo. Nice. Oh, is she only 4 days out? I followed it a lot at the beginning, like a lot of us did, but I haven't seen it as much lately. Doozer. Gonna get into Doozer? Oh, Patty, you've been watching Bike Breath as well? Yeah. Nice. Oh, cool. A bunch of you have. William, you said, yeah. Keith has given me a pronunciation lesson of Gran Anaque. I was talking about this earlier, so I was, like I said, I was photographing cocktails with my buddy Albert. Owns 2 coffee shops. We're like high school friends, but he's a huge cycling fanatic, and he actually keeps at the one place that actually sells alcohol. He keeps like bike races on the TV all the time. But I got a comment again about like one of my most popular early videos on YouTube. The first video that I ever made that had any kind of views was about my vintage Peugeot. And people comment on my pronunciation of Peugeot all the time. And the latest one that just popped up today while I was sitting there photographing these cocktails, like, you Americans struggle so hard with pronouncing Peugeot, and they like phonetically spelled how it's supposed to be pronounced. And I just responded, I said, no, we don't. We, in America, this is how it's pronounced, and that's how I pronounce it. So the car brand is more popular than the bike brand, especially back in the day, and we call them Peugeots. And if you are from Britain or France and you have a different pronunciation, that's fine. If you live in France, you probably say croissant, and we say croissants. Like, and the French mispronounce, like, I've been there a ton of American words, and we have a ton of different pronunciations between us and the British, and we spell things different. We don't say color, we say color, and all that stuff. So it's Peugeot if you live in America. And I'm not pronouncing it wrong as an American, but it might upset your, European standards. But like, I like, we had, what was your friend's name who ended up moving to Texas, Dave, who was in the band, who would say hero when we're talking about gyros?
Matt?
Jordan?
Matt or Jordan? Probably Jordan. Any one of them.
Jordan. But they would, like, once in a while, like, I would hear them, like, they were like, oh, we're going down to hero gyro. And it's like, it's Euro gyro.
Yeah, but like, that I think that was his background, like his ethnicity or whatever.
Fair enough.
So he gets a pass, yeah. Kind of. But that is pretentious.
Yeah, it just sounds pretentious. Like, yeah, I mean, you can say things those ways if you want nobody to like you. Like, I can pronounce, like, Peugeot like the French do if I want nobody around me to like me.
That's different than saying, like you said, color, croissant. Peugeot is, I mean, that's a proper noun. So that's...
So is Deutschland. But we say Germany because we're in America.
That's not
so is Jet
same.
Road. We know Jet Road.
How do you say the tour? Like the full tour?
The Tour de France.
Tour de France?
Yeah, I'm not going to say France. I'm not going to say Francais.
You shouldn't.
And it's weird to talk about the women's Tour de France because I'm like, Tour de France avec... Or Tour de France femme avec Swift. Am I going to say that? So like half the time I say the women's Tour de France. Because what are people around me going to speak that don't follow this stuff? Like,
That's true.
I do tend to say Tour de France when I say it because it's right, but and then you listen to Sean Kelly, if he'll still say Tour of France, he'll say Tour of Spain, he'll say Tour of Italy, like I do say Giro d'Italia but also it's less popular here. So to pronounce Giro d'Italia right makes sense to me.
No.
Or I wouldn't say Tour of Italy, and I wouldn't say Giro d'Italy. But the Tour de France is popular here. People know Tour de France, Tour de France, Tour de. No one says Tour de France. You know what I mean? Like, you don't hear someone say Tour de
See,
France.
now you saying it sounds right.
Yeah.
In my head, you say Tour de France. It sounds wrong.
Yeah. Tour de France, Tour de France, Tour de France.
But France sounds wrong too.
Well,
I
I
just
also
say the
hear,
tour.
and I don't know if this is like the kind of Spanish that where it is, but like I'll also hear people like the Vuelta that just ended. I'll hear Vuelta with a W, and I don't know what that pronunciation is. I'll hear a number of Europeans say Vuelta a España with like a W sound, and I don't know what it is, but over here we say Vuelta, and there's brands called Vuelta, and we say Vuelta. It's like I don't know. Again, like I was saying, I grew up in Bath, and there's a Gent Road, and we all say Gent. I know it's Ghent, England. I know that's what it's named after.
A lot of people say
like
Ghent, yeah.
I would sound like an idiot for calling it Ghent Road because nobody says that.
Because it's not. It's
Yeah,
Gent
not
Road.
in here. There's like we've talked about this before, but parts of southern Ohio, like
Yeah.
Berlin, Ohio, Amish country, Berlin. No one's gonna say Berlin. You know what I mean? It's
Somebody was just talking about Bella Fountain on
Oh,
the
yeah.
Radio.
that
The
was a
other
big
day.
one. When we first went there, we were saying Bellefontaine,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the locals were like, "You're not in France, bro."
Now, does that have an E at the end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? They're
It-
just saying it wrong. Though.
In the French pronunciation, it is Bellefontaine, but Bellefontaine is how everyone who lives there calls it, and that's what it's called. Then. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but you can't take. Again, that goes with proper nouns. You can't take a foreign proper noun and then mispronounce it and then be mad when everybody pronounces it correctly.
Yeah. Well, I would say, what is Lima, Ohio? We know it's named after Lima,
Yeah.
but it's Lima, Ohio. That's what it's been pronounced for. Hurricane, West Virginia. Hurricane.
Yeah.
They don't even say hurricane. It's just, localisms are. You could go and tell someone in West Virginia they're pronouncing it wrong. Have a Texas Chainsaw Massacre scene on your hands. We've gone down the rabbit hole again already, so. Oh man, David got a 93 stump jumper stolen. That's a bummer. Yeah. Broadford, yeah. Probably Riding's Japan videos were pretty rad. We were talking about that on our last group ride. Me and my buddy Aaron Novak, who's been on the stream, he did on Bound and stuff like that in Mid-South. We're like, oh, that dude just disappeared. I'm like, he's still on Instagram, but his YouTube channel disappeared. And then now he's dropping all the videos from when he was in Japan, which have been fantastic. Leia will set the women's world record tomorrow. So, there's that other woman who's doing the circumnavigation in a different direction. So I wonder what her time will end up being. Stephanie said Peugeots. Yeah. Aluminium. Nathan said, yeah. Nathan Mace. Like the British say, aluminium. I could say that. That's our language comes from England, but people would look at me like I'm a madman if I ever said aluminium around here.
Yeah, because we took a letter out of it.
We took a letter out of it, but it's not our language.
Well, it goes back to the color, or pretty much anything.
Yeah.
You just drop a letter and pronounce it a little bit different.
But he said Tim sounded like Ricky Bobby when French guys started playing jazz at the dive bar. How do I pronounce Velo Orange? So it's funny because I heard Russ, because he always says Velo Orange, and me and Aaron actually, when we were in Provence, we actually went through Orange, which is pronounced Orange, the city. But it's funny because Russ finally, I heard him say that Igor, who owns Velo Orange, doesn't like to hear it pronounced Velo Orange. So there you go. Chris FYB, by the way, I mentioned the meetup is dropping me messages right now about the plans. So, anyways, I think we're still meeting at the same spot. He's asking me messages. He's talking about the ending point, so. Hey, what's up, Don? So David said it's definitely pronounced Gent. Ghent, yeah. But, yeah. If you lived in the town in Britain, it would definitely be pronounced Ghent. But, yeah, nobody in Bath says that. Which also, Bath, Ohio, where I'm from, would be Bath. And, you know, and the whole name comes from the fact that in England there were Roman baths there, Roman baths there. So, whatever. Bell Fountain, yeah. And Pudgy's down that way. Yeah. I said I can't wait till 10 so I could tell you what I would tell them. Hey, what's up, Headsling? Chris is asking if we could do a 1 mile climb on the group ride in Pittsburgh on Friday. I'm going to say yes. So, just so you guys know, that it looks like there'll be a 1 mile climb on Friday in Pittsburgh. Oh, Pudgy's saying Berlin changed their pronunciation to disassociate from the Germans. Interesting. Troy on Trail said, I'm probably riding but never heard of it. Yeah, it's great because he starts every video with the line, I'm probably riding my bike. And it's cool because it's obviously like the double meaning. His channel is called Probably Riding. So when he says I'm probably riding my bike, he's like saying, hey, that's my name on YouTube. And that's also what he's doing. So Racer said, what's up, Racer? He says in France they say croissant. Here we call it a croissandwich. What was our? Why did Edmund go running off? He took off over that way.
Oh, did he?
What was?
It was like a crescent moon or something.
Yeah, we worked third. Me and Dave worked third shift making snow at a ski resort. And the ski resort is a very loose term.
Yeah.
The ski hill in the Cuyahoga Valley, but we worked with this goofball named Roy. Total goofball, right?
Like a tinfoil hat.
Tinfoil hat goofball. Like, yeah, like I don't put stuff on the internet because the government will read my mind.
Right.
Type guy. But yeah, the one night we had radios, and he came over the radio, and he's like, "Look at the moon," and it was like this beautiful. Like we worked what was it, 11 to 7?
Uh-huh.
Those hours. He's like, "Look at the moon," and he's like, "What do you say? It's making me hungry. It's making me want a croissant."
Croissant. It's something ridiculous like that.
Rich said Mavic. Yeah, I don't. With the French brand Mavic, I just say Mavic. I don't know how that one is supposed to be pronounced. I mean, not a lot of people talk about it. David Gee said Peninsula. Yeah, Peninsula. I've never heard. We worked in the Cuyahoga Valley like for 10 years. Everyone said Peninsula, right? I don't. Maybe some old timers put the SH in there.
Peninsula?
I think there's some old timers might have said that, but
Is there an H in there?
there's not. It's spelled just like a peninsula would be, with a capital P. But Donald, I've talked about this a bunch. So in the USA, black coffee is only in the Midwest. When I'm on the East Coast, if I say black coffee, they'll repeat, do you want cream or sugar in it? So black coffee is like a Midwest, Great Lakes thing. So just being in Boston last time, I would be, even at Dunkin', like just a fast food chain, I'd be like, large black coffee, and they'd be like, cream or sugar? And I'm like, I just said large black coffee. And when we were in New York, in the bodegas, you'd be like, black coffee, and then you just watch them pour the cream and sugar, and they're like, I said black coffee. Like, yeah. I didn't realize that was a localism. I thought everyone knew black coffee, but it's definitely a Great Lakes Midwest thing. Like, Robert Graves said, I want to see a group road ride in the UP. All pavement, no sandy crap. Oh, man, if you're getting off-road in the UP, man, sand is what you're getting into. But then once we got farther, I guess it did become more gravelly. There wasn't a lot of sand once we got up to Wisconsin. So I feel like it's northern Michigan and lower UP that are super sandy. There's probably someone in here who knows better than me, but Roland said I like that channel, so probably riding. Didn't know South Korea was such a cool place. It's so interesting with probably riding because a video he made not too long ago too. He visited where he's from in the UK, and when he's riding around there along the canals, for me, someone from the US, I'm like, it looks so cool. And he was like, I wanted to get out of this boring place and wanted to go somewhere interesting. And I'm like, man, you lived somewhere interesting, but it's just that whole the grass is always greener, right? Because I get those comments about my channel. It's like, man, you guys have all this great like industrial gravel, and I'm like, this place is a dump. And I do love where I live, and I am trying to showcase it, but again, it just doesn't feel interesting or exotic. But there's his name's Keverlou. He comments on a lot of the videos, and he lives in like an industrial part of France, and I'm like, he's always like, man, doesn't anyone work there? It looks so interesting. And I'm like, it's kind of like, I compare it to like Roubaix in France. It's like very industrial, and it's not it's historic, but we've torn down most of that, and I don't know, it's just abandoned. It's weird, but so Devotee said coffee regulars, cream, milk, and sugar in New York City. Yeah, and like one of my favorite. We were in New York. We were seeing Paul Weller for any of the. I don't think we have any British guys in here tonight. I don't think Mr. Natty's in here or anything. But in the bodegas, they always put your drink into a bag.
I wonder, do they still do that?
I don't know, the paper bag, and they do that at like drive-ins here, like Swenson's or Skyway.
Yes,
old school drive-ins. Yeah. They do that with your Californias and whatever. People know what those are. But what is the phosphate? Your phosphates. But like we were there with that time with Eric. Remember, it was like 20 degrees out, so we're walking everywhere in the city, but it's cold as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kept walking into places to get coffees just to like warm up where we were standing in the bodega, but then drink something hot because it really does help. And I remember the one time Eric was like, I won't need the bag. And the guy like looked at him, stripped the bag open, put it on the counter, then put the coffee directly in it, like while staring at him the whole time. Like,
did not break eye contact.
You've insulted my entire culture and way of being. And it's like, and it was like a bodega owner. It was like a bodega owner. It was like an Arab guy in New York City. And it's so weird. And like, we walk outside and you pull the bag off and throw it directly in the trash can because it's like.
I don't get it.
Yeah. And I remember too, do you remember the one place we went where we were like, we said black coffee and the guys didn't understand. We're like, no cream or sugar. And the one dude started pouring it in there, and the guy next to him just started like berating him on a level where we're like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's okay. He's like, I'm just like, man, this guy's going to murder this man. It's like, it's okay. Like, we'll get by. New York, I fucking love that place. So, anyways.
So what's coffee on the West Coast then?
On the West Coast, I don't know. Do they drink coffee out there? They probably drink
tree kombucha.
Yeah, kombucha. Yes. If it ain't fermented, they ain't touching it.
Just almond milk. Just straight nut
milk. That
milk.
is one thing we don't have, which you think what the timing would be. Like, we rarely hear like someone in California jump into the chat. I think, Patty and.
It's got to be a timing thing.
Maybe they don't watch live streams in California. Too busy listening to the Beach Boys and hanging 10.
Too busy hanging 10.
Too busy hanging 10. No, that's what I'm doing. Only us people from Ohio listen to the Beach Boys and say stuff like hanging 10, I'm sure. All right. What does TIL mean? This I learned.
Today I learned.
Black coffee was a regional thing. A peninsula is a fancy way of saying peninsula. Paved roads? Why would you move to the UP and ride paved roads anyways, Robert? I don't, Pudgy, I don't know what movie that's from. He said, I'll have a coffee black. Can't you see I'm talking white? I don't know. Oh, is it 10 o'clock already? All right, I gotta go. Oh, shit. Would you look at the time? Would you look at the time? Oh, head singer. Head singer, you're English? I don't think I knew that. You're one of the most recent channel members, so. Maybe I did. That's what earlier when I was talking about how I don't remember a lot of like super mechanical things. It's my brain, like things need to be super repetitive to stick with me. And it's like once they stick, I don't forget them, but it takes a number of times for that to build up. So I'll probably forget that again, but 3 more streams in, I'll never forget it. Oh, David, yeah, wander and finding new places. And someone else just commented on a video saying that like they used to avoid all the kind of like industrial gravel stuff, and then like the channel like made them like want to explore those. And that's kind of what when I first started doing bike content really stuck in my mind. I'm like, there's got to be, I want to like market's the wrong word because I don't care, like, but like show the idea that like there's stuff to explore in your own town, and you probably live in a city like I do. Like the Red Bull videos are awesome. Like we all want to watch that extreme stuff, and then like exotic travel, like Europe, like cool places to ride, amazing bikepacking things like bikepacking.com has, the Radavist articles. But most of us live in places like this, and it's like, how do you make the most of living and getting out on your bike every day, and not just riding the same old bike path or the same old roads where drivers hate your guts and want to kill you? And so I love when I hear that people are like, man, like I watched your videos and it inspired me to see what is down that road that I've never looked at, or what is down that trail, or the homeless people aren't trying to kill me. As long as I'm respectful, I could go and explore the places that they wander to, like type thing. So. and then the alternative is Cycling Bride. This place is a dump too. Everywhere else looks better for riding. And again, same. I mean, I always want to travel and I always want to see new stuff, and I do get in that mentality of it's boring around here. But then it's like, go hit some of the interesting stuff, and then I do, like, being someone who makes content, you look back and you're like, this is actually kind of cool and unique. There's something unique about wherever you live. So
your videos do put not a proverbial filter on things. Some of the spots you're riding are shitholes.
Yeah, some of those factories we're riding in, some of those,
right?
But and again, like Large Marge in the chat, I don't know if he's in tonight, but Ben, he'll go and do that stuff alone. Like there's there's routes during the day I'll ride alone, but some of those factories I do not ride through abandoned buildings alone that he goes out and checks out, or like burnout places. I mean, there's people in there stealing all the copper wires out, and like I'm like, hey, I'll go in there with friends. Like last winter you saw us going into that couple spots that I would not go in alone. I'm not going to pretend like, yeah, I am not the toughest guy. That's for sure. Like, yeah, and Wanderer I like a lot in the winter. So it's like, when I'm not going as far, when 10 miles is going to be hard on a bike that I don't really want to ride because it's studded tires and my old bike, doing Wanderer is cool because then I will do a lot of those neighborhood streets. Me and Aaron did a ton of Wanderer miles last winter. So, yeah. Oh, Peekaboo, you said you started looking for geocaches on your rides just to break them up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Devotee said a bunch of napkins on top, too. I think I'm going, after Nutmeg, I'm going to go to New York City. Like, one of my things is I think I might take the ferry over, I've mentioned this before, and ride down Long Island into the city. And then Aaron is now starting to talk about maybe I just post up in the city and you could meet me. But I love New York so much. And I'm like,
you gotta have something to do, though. I mean, I guess you could just go around, but you've already done that.
Last time we were there, I just rode my bike and I just loved it. I don't care. I've already done like the sites, we've done them together.
Yeah.
So, But you said you used to just like get on the subway and get off at random stops and like check out what was around there, right?
Well, yeah, I lived there and had nothing else to do.
Yeah, because New York.
Yeah, but I had
amazing.
I had at what I thought unlimited time to do it. You show up for a week or a weekend, few days, whatever. You can't just waste time on dumb shit.
See, that's what I want to do. I want to go to New York and waste time on
That's
dumb
the thing, though. That
we used to do that when we travel out there. I'd be like, I've never seen like where that final closing scene, like the world. What do they call it? The
Well,
World's
yeah, that's
Fair site for Men in Black. Let's go out.
that's something to do.
Yeah, but it's just picking a random thing. Like, I mean, we were just
Yeah,
walking
that-
around,
You know,
and then there's
that's
like a
gonna be
Korean
cool.
fest, and we're eating little fish and all this shit.
You can you can also take it. It was that I think it was that trip where we had like the like all the spots that Vice said you should go to.
Mhm.
That was brutal. Just walking,
Oh, you mean when we were in the Lower East Side and we're doing
just
like,
hitting
old
everything you
pizza?
could. Yeah, we were just walking everywhere instead of like just jumping on the subway or whatever. You could take it too far and try to see too much stuff.
Yeah, that was Simone planned that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were
It's-
doing
yeah,
every,
she just
like,
like
cool
took like
thing.
the centerfold out of Vice magazine. It's
Yeah.
like, we're doing this.
I remember like every night we got back to that hostel, which was like a 16-person room hostel, and you would just hit the bed and be like, "Oh my god!" Like feet hurt. Like,
That was a brutal trip.
Yeah.
Fun.
We went out to on that one. We went out to the boardwalk. We went out to Coney Island one day on that trip.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Peter Santarello's videos? No, I haven't. He goes to insane places like Shutdown Pittsburgh, Backwoods Appalachia, that train wreck town in Ohio. Train wreck town in Ohio doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah, that's
I live in Cuyahoga Falls. Like, Doodlebug, worst train wreck in Cuyahoga Falls
There you
history.
go.
Ride by there all the time. All right. Let's see what's going on, man. Me and Dave are just going to share memories with each other while you guys hang out. We did cool shit, though. We did have some fun times. Yeah. One of the first times I rode a bike in the city was with you when we went out to Chicago to visit your sister.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe that there were bike lanes through intersections and people obeyed them. That blew my mind. And I was
Chicago.
riding my old-
Yeah, that right.
Ride my old mountain bike there, trying to keep up with you two. Do you still have? What were you riding? We were riding some white road bike. Do you still have that?
What was I riding?
Yeah, it was some white road bike. I have a picture of us in front of the bean.
A white one.
I thought so.
I can't think of. Unless it's black and it's just got a reflection on it.
That's racist. Blort said, I can't wait to come up to Ohio for the infrastructure. So, in Maryland, you're saying it's not as... Where I live, like we said, I've said this a bunch of times, but we have really good bike paths. There's 3 within a couple miles of my house that go, the studio here, that go all over. But Akron's bike infrastructure is pretty weak. Cleveland does really well. Cincinnati does really well. Columbus, especially now, all in the last few years. But yeah, where I ride, it's still sketchy. Like me and Aaron have still had issues. I don't know if some of you guys, no one commented. I was surprised by in the last video. I kicked over all this valet parking guys stuff that was in the bike lane in Cuyahoga Falls. I was like, "Fuck you, dude!" Like we've been attacked here, like for being in the bike lane. Your car infrastructure now doesn't get to take the bike lane in, and I was pissed, and I left it in the video, and I just emailed the city today, and I know the owner of those properties, and I was like, hey, this guy can't be putting his stuff in the bike infrastructure. That's bullshit. Like, I obviously worded it much nicer than that, but yeah.
Please refer to this video and put a date stamp in there when you're kicking it over.
Oh. John Span said Pacific Northwest is all about the coffee. So the coffee shop I was at tonight, the cocktail bar coffee shop, is the guy opened it, my buddy, because he lived out there for years and he moved back. He's like, there's no good coffee in Akron. And that was kind of his whole thing. So Coffee on the West Coast is matcha mushrooms and LSD. Oh, I must be way behind. Starbucks isn't, Tim, just a Seattle thing. See, Peekaboo, now you got to get on the sketchy bum trails. I don't mean bum. Street people.
I think that's worse.
Yeah, I know. Erin one time, and she'll hate me for saying this, but we were going through we were like in southern, I think it was actually at Pudgy after we were down visiting you, we went through an area, and she was like, did you guys see all those weird campers? And I was like, weird campers is not a better word for homeless. So now we, of course, have integrated weird campers into our... I don't know. Someone tell me why I'm wrong about this. The more PC term that has popped up lately, unhoused. How is unhoused a better word than homeless? And I am like again, you don't need to hold this against me if you're not. I am a leftist. I am liberal to the core. Like, I'm pretty PC, but I always hear this now. People say unhoused. Like, homeless is derogatory.
I thought it meant two different things.
What would the difference between homeless
and unhoused means you have, like, shelter. You just don't have a house. Or I might have had that flipped.
Maybe you're right. I thought it was just like they were acting like homeless is derogatory and unhoused is a better word.
Sure that's probably where it stemmed from.
Yeah. I don't know. Seems... whatever. I wish I was hanging 10. This black coffee thing reminds me of when people put shit like ketchup on steak. I think ketchup on eggs is the thing that grosses me out the most. You put Frank's...
That's delicious.
You put Frank's on eggs.
Well, that works too.
Frank's. But you already said abort. Oh, Headsling, you're in New York. Okay, I was wrong. And next week there will be a test. Oh, well, maybe I'll hit you up. Well, I will hit you up if I'm heading through the area and you have time. So, I was hoping to meet up with Todd, Concrete Trails and stuff like that if I head through New York. I don't know. It seems like Terry B's traveling all over, and I think he's going to Japan at some point. I haven't heard him say if he's doing Nutmeg this year, so I don't know if I'll see him out there, but... In Ohio, if you order a rye whiskey south of I-70, you will get a Kentucky whiskey. If you're north of I-70, you will get a Canadian whiskey. Yeah, I don't know. I only drink bourbon. I don't like rye. I just never liked rye. Have you had that coffee with lion's mane mushrooms and chaga in it? No. Hey, what's up, Brian? Like I said, I'm a black coffee... And like my buddy does all single origin, super light roast, the very third wave modern coffee, and that's what I drink. Yeah. Oh, Headsling, now you're compelled to finish all of Manhattan. One thing I was really annoyed with after I was in Boston, and I had just kind of been cruising, because I didn't think I would have as much time as I ended up having. There is a fort out on, like, past, like, right across from downtown where all the old fishing docks are, which is where I was working, which has now become, behind them, very high-end, like, Trillium breweries there and, like, all these million-dollar condos. Out there, I've seen it on the map as an old fort that it looks like you go out on this peninsula and you could ride around. And when I got home and I was looking at my Strava and Wander Earth, I'm like, I forgot about that. I should have done that. But again, it's like, hindsight's 2020. I didn't even think I was going out there to ride my bike that much, but New York is like that. When I look at New York and I look at all these little spots, like in Queens and up on the rivers and stuff, and I'm like, I've got to get up there. And every time I go, I try and knock one of those things off my bucket list. You know, like I said, when we went, it was like going to Flushing Meadows the one time, going to Coney Island. Like, if I go back in the summer with time, maybe next year, like I want to get out to the Rockaways. I have a route in my mind that goes through Brooklyn and out to the Rockaways. I just want to see it. I want to know what it, you know. But Boston, I feel like I should have taken more advantage, but every time I've been there, I've either been working or hanging out with my friends or a combination of the two. And it's like, sometimes it's nice just to cruise and not have have a beer, have a sandwich, not being worried about, any goals. But oh, David, you said growing up in East Akron, you're always trying to figure out where our videos are filmed. So a lot of them are East Akron because once you get past Middlebury, there are so many like abandoned sites out there that we get to. So yeah, Goodyear Heights and
We said east of Akron.
east of Akron. Oh, up east of Akron. Oh, gotcha. And now you're down in Worcester, yeah, which we've ridden in very little because I love Worcester actually. Yeah, JFB and what's the picture of their logo? Just a bunch of cool stuff downtown Worcester and the hilltop and the old like government buildings up there. I think it's a really cool place. But yeah, haven't done a lot of bike riding down there. I've hiked down there on the outskirts of Worcester back before I rode as much. But yeah, Cycling Brian, you're way more out there than Northeast Ohio, because even though Akron's not a huge place, we live in basically, when you put the whole region together, like Cleveland, Akron, Canton, the suburbs, it's a gigantic area. So, gigantic developed area. So, it still doesn't take that far to go in certain directions to get out on the gravel, as you've seen in the videos, but there you can really stay in like, suburban, city type stuff for a long way. Don't touch the balls, you freaks. Dimitri knows what I'm talking about. When Terry live streams and he loses connection, it goes to like the clips that are the most popular. And there's one where he's just riding his like single speed by the Wall Street, and there's like all the tourists out there. He said, "Don't touch the balls, you freaks." Headsling said, "Let's ride to Shirley Chisholm State Park in Brooklyn." Do you know this spot, Dave?
I've never heard of that. I missed that comment. Where's that?
We did some when we stayed in Brooklyn. That would be 2 years ago after Nutmeg. We did go to Prospect Park because we wanted to do the Prospect Park loops, and we also wanted to do some of the off-road stuff that Terry does out there. But like he had said, if you don't know where they are, it's hard to find. And like me and Ben were kind of more into it. But yeah, the group, we just did some hot laps in Prospect Park before we headed across the bridge. So I'll use bikes. An update on your build project. Nice. Now that it's harvest season, I do wild harvesting from my bicycle and get some great food and drinks. Nice. Colby, you said hit me up if you end up in the Little Apple. We're about an hour drive from the gravel Unbound start line. And I think Unbound, was it Unbound? No, not Unbound. It's Mid-South that's registration open soon because people were talking about it. But Balancing Bike Life, what's up? You said Dayton has some of the best long bike trails in the state for sure. When Aaron first got into bikes, we went and spent a weekend down there, and I think it was either Labor Day or Memorial Weekend. So Dayton was like, it was like the Sunday and Monday, and it was like that, kind of like Akron will be on a holiday weekend if there's not some kind of specific fest. But we rode a number of the trails. I actually have a very old video on the channel before the channel was even all about bikes of riding in Dayton. We stay in like a cool Airbnb, and it's really the theme of how I make the music videos now. It's exactly like that. It's quick pace cut stuff. But yeah, we ride under the water, like where they spray the water everywhere down by the river. We go to that brewery that does stuff like 1800 style. But yeah, we keep talking about going back because Dayton's trails connect into either Yellow Springs and Cincinnati and all that. And we've talked about if we ever do Ohio to Erie again. And when I say Ohio to Erie, it's like our version of making it go through Dayton and hit some of that kind of stuff. So for sure. Yeah, Dayton has great trails, and I haven't explored them all yet. Stephanie said, I think I feel safer riding in the rural areas where I live than any other city infrastructure because no matter how good it is, you still got to deal with intersections. Yeah. I'm hit or miss. I guess you get out on, like, when I rode up to Ann Arbor, I was out on some rural roads where I just felt like totally comfortable. And like when I was like heading towards Toledo, I was on some streets where it was like I didn't see cars for miles. But then once I crossed into Michigan, I was in areas that felt like that, and I was just getting blasted by cars nonstop. So it really depends on where you are, right? So I felt like as comfortable as I've ever felt on roads to going as uncomfortable as I've ever felt on rural roads in the same trip. So. Pittsburgh has a lot of weird campers on the Gap Trail. Yeah, and you know what? Last time I went to Pittsburgh, what was I down there for? Oh, my buddy, the guys I'm meeting this weekend actually for Saturday night, went down there for a friend's birthday and staying downtown. We stayed in, what is that nice hotel? It's not Ace. What are those called? But the people around there too, like even the non-weird campers, people who seem like they had place, just like look like the drug epidemic, like so many vacant eyes, and like I didn't feel unsafe, but I felt like it was like we were talking about. It's like this is weird. We're like among like the living dead. These are just like junkies, whatever it is. I'm not up on weird camper drug culture. Oh, it's sad. I mean, I'm laughing, but it was super sad. How about Structurally Challenged? Is that a YouTube channel? I'm not. Yeah.
For unhoused.
Oh, for unhoused, Structurally Challenged. Okay. Yeah. Listen, again, I'm not against PC type stuff. Like, there's certain things that make more sense to say. There's other things that I feel like we're just saying stuff to say stuff. Peekaboo said you live in a small coastal town of 2,000. You don't have any strange camping. And Pudgy said maybe unhoused includes renters to show how bad our housing market is. Maybe. Yeah, I the way I've always heard it said is like a direct homeless thing. So, And with organizations I work with the homeless. So I've heard them say unhoused for people who are clearly what we would have called homeless. So, but I'm not discounting that I'm not totally right. I'm totally right in most things. This is one I might not be. Hey, Bob, what's up? Bob Darrow's up in here. It's how the whole world has become gray and pointless, unhoused. Yeah. Doing a bunch of, by the way, Bob, if you're still in here, doing a bunch of Kent rides over the weekend. I said to Aaron, I'm like, we're going to run into Bob at some point. So we got to get together intentionally soon. It's been way too long. Not just to chat when we do run into each other out on the trail. So. Skibbity, Ohio? What does that mean? Do you know what Joe's
It's a play on Skibbity Toilet. I have no idea what that means. I hear it all the time.
What's the
It's what the
Skibbity
kids
toilet?
are saying. I don't know. But yes, Ohio is being
Skibbity?
Skibbity, I guess.
Skibbity.
I think he's calling Ohio a toilet.
Ah, fair enough. Hit up Miggy or Sheed in NYC. Yeah, and Bradley, I don't think he's in here tonight, but I think he's going to be around for Nutmeg now. Pudgy, are you not going to go out to Nutmeg? And I meant to DM Brian to make sure he's going to go out there. Brian, by the way, Yellowbird Threadworks got a ton of great coverage out at Made, right? I saw him in Pathless Pedals videos. I think he was in Bike Sauce videos. A couple articles. What did the Radivist? This is Pudgy's, would you say best friend? I don't know. Close friend from New England who lives right by Ronnie Romance, and they ride bikes together too, who does the stem caps. Yeah, really cool to see him get a bunch of coverage, but hung out with him last year at Nutmeg and Higher Ground Hundo. But yeah, Pudgy, are you trying to get out there? And do you want to coordinate anything if you are? I know Dylan hit me up. He wants to go out there. Again, we haven't made the plans around it yet. And the week leading up to Nutmeg, I'm busy. So like the things I do around being on the East Coast will be after Nutmeg. I did book a place for the night before for me, Aaron, and Ben Large, and then told Dylan if he's interested we could do it too. It's in Delaware Gap. It's a, what do you call it? Conestoga wagons. Have you ever heard like a covered wagon? So it's a KOA with a covered wagon. And we were kind of drinking. If you guys saw the photos that I posted of me and Aaron and Ben hanging out under the bridge on Labor Day, I saw that thing and I'm like, come, booked. We're staying in a covered
It's
wagon.
in a covered wagon?
Yeah, Conestoga? Is that how you say it?
I think it's Conestoga.
Conestoga, yeah. Yeah, we're staying in a Conestoga wagon at the KOA. Because we want to get out there so we can get to Nutmeg real early and pick a lean-to and all that stuff. But yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Chufa says this. I was talking about this a minute ago. Castle Island. That's where I wanted to ride, for sure. A couple of people said that. Chris said Castle Island. Yeah. No sleep till Brooklyn. Let me catch up.
You pretty much are caught up.
Oh, good. Oh. Yep. Oh, should we go to the maps? We don't even have Jay Dandy in here, but so was Jay Dandy in here? I don't think so. Did you see him, Dave?
I thought he was at the very beginning.
There it is. Oh, yep. Castle Island. That's exactly what I was thinking of, guys. So let me zoom back out for a second. So I rode all around. Yeah, I guess what they call the north end. I always say downtown Boston. This is what I think of downtown, but it's not the as much like all the wharfs and everything.
Abung subscribed to the channel.
Yeah, so like out by the piers, I did a lot of that, and then like Government Center, and actually this time I didn't go to the Commons, but I've done that. Yeah, Government Center over here, which yeah, all this stuff that I just think is super cool in Boston. Said over to Cambridge and Charleston, which people got so on my case because I accidentally called Charleston Cambridge, but it's not the same. Cambridge is down here, but yeah. I'm not from Boston, so I mess all that stuff up. But yeah, Castle Island. This is where I would have been. Look at these, like in the water. That would have been such a cool place to ride in the summer. Let's look at it on the satellite. Yeah. Yeah. Had been on my list forever, and it doesn't look like a place that cars are gonna be driving.
What is that? It looks like a rails to trails type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Guys, let us know. Like, is this just only bike infrastructure here?
I mean, it's
Headway
obviously
Island Causeway. I mean, why would you drive out there? I don't know. But this must be an old artificial harbor for some reason. You could see, like, obviously the design of the fort here that still exists.
right.
But Civil War fort. Yeah, I'm sure it's even older than that. But what's there now is the Civil War fort. But oh, that's what they're saying. Sullivan's Castle, where they're getting the burgers. Yeah. Oh, it's parking here. So I wonder if people park here and just ride. Look at this big lot.
I mean, I'm sure that's a tourist destination.
Yeah. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, so it's right there. So if you could, yeah. Yeah, North End. Yeah, so this is where I work. Out on, which one? One of these piers. It's Stavis. I think this is Stavis. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, right here. This is where I work when I go out there. But yeah, then my friends live way over in over by the Franklin Park, like the bear cages and all that in Roxbury. But there's a bike path that takes you right. Oh wait, we're in here. Let's see. Is that over here? I need to turn the satellite off. Brookline. It's farther in than that, right? Oh, Franklin Park, yeah. Yeah, so my friends live over here. This is the old bear cages. Yeah.
What are you going to pin it on the internet? Let everybody know exactly where they're at?
Yeah, I didn't put it in there. But there's just, bike lanes that go right into like the north end. It's great. Blord asked if I've been on any decent trails down near Canton. Yeah, there's the one right through downtown, and we rode that over to the really good coffee shop. What's the name of that coffee shop down there in Canton? But they're not that long, so Canton doesn't have a lot of, 10 miles of bike path down in Boston? Like right past, But there's a lot of good riding down there. I just don't find the neighborhoods are that hard to ride through, so. Used Bike said if you're a cute lady, you should use the buddy system out in the country because idiots in vehicles may keep driving by you on purpose to look at your ass and stuff.
Is that from experience?
I only drive by once and glance. I'm respectful. Better me than some creep. Finally got to use that. Maybe I should ask the resident expert, Edmund. Edmund is from the streets. Where did he go? Maybe because home can be in the city or community. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, we got to get together soon. Yeah. Oh, cool, Pudgy. You are planning on it. Nice. Yeah, like I said, I don't know. We haven't even bounced around ideas between other people yet. Dylan had talked about like posting up somewhere mountain biking out east. Ben hasn't really said what he's thinking of, and Aaron was talking about maybe just like spending a couple days getting back home. So I like the idea of going bike packing out there. I love traveling by bike. It's what I love to do. So, but I'll be open to other ideas, whether it's friends in New York who have ideas or you guys from here. So. Brian, you said used to ride Lakewood, Avon, and all that. Now you're out in Medina and hate being on the roads. Yeah, we have a harder time heading out that direction. I did it though a little bit. One, when I did the Ann Arbor ride, I kind of headed up through Medina, and once I got to the other side of the city, I had pretty good luck on the bike paths that went through. There were some pretty good bike paths through like the suburban areas up there. I don't know. I have the routes pinned in the video I made about getting up to Ann Arbor if you ever want to check those out. So, David, no, I don't have any. Well, there's people who follow the channel that said I should have hit them up, but I didn't know what my schedule was going to be, so I didn't. But no, the people I stay with in Boston do not ride bikes, so I had no advice. Like I would be back for dinner or whatever we were going to do together, but I would just hop on my bike and be out there. And then when my buddy Eric would be like, hey, I'll be off work in an hour, I knew it would be 2 hours till he could get back to Roxbury, and I would ride my bike back. But no, so a couple of people mentioned riding along the coast and like a lot of good suggestions after I was out of there. And again, if I knew I was going to have as much time as I did, I would have planned more riding, but I just didn't think I was going to. And plus, I didn't know the weather was going to be so perfect. So we've had like no bandwidth this whole time, huh?
That's what I don't know if.
But it
that
looks
can't.
all right on your end?
Yeah, that can't be accurate.
Huh. No idea what's going on. Well, we have a little lull in the conversation. I did bring it up at the beginning of the stream, but I do want to bring it up one more time. I think next week we will do a bike photo stream. If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. That's where If you want to talk about your bike, it'll be if you're going to be here. So, yeah. I was going to ask, and I don't think he's here tonight, Large Marge, if he wanted to co-host that one because he knows so much more about bikes than me. So instead of me being like, what is that? He could also chime in. Don't know if he'll want to, but I think that'll be fun. We used to do that a lot. And that's like what a lot of the streams were. That's the reason I started the Discord, was so people could post bike photos. So basically what will happen is I'll open up a special channel at like, I don't know, 7 o'clock where people could post photos, and then we'll go through them. Anyways. Samir said, Tim, you should try the Huron Valley Trail and Michigan Airline Trail next time you come to Michigan. Yeah, I definitely think we'll be out there next summer. We really liked getting out there a number of times last year, and this year, we got out to Ann Arbor, but not very far. I think that is definitely the direction we'll be heading next year, so I will keep that in mind. Bort said, just finished up working on your Schwinn. Can't wait to share some pics after the shakedown ride. Nice. Also, if you guys saw the last video, I put out a little call about like trying to do a 650B conversion. Had a friend who out in Kent reached out to me, and he was like, hey, I've got some rim brake 650B wheels that are not very expensive if you want to come grab them. So I'll bring him a t-shirt and some stickers. But so yeah, I think the Fuji Del Rey I have, which is like a 60, will be fun to try and do a 650B conversion on. And as I said, I think I'm going to lean it towards, instead of being like a wider tire road bike, trying to make it an off-road build, like putting like a mountain bike triple or something. I have so many mountain bike parts around here, trying to make that work. And I was going to hit you up about this, Dave, like where we have a couple of the cameras going, and we kind of like just wing it, putting this bike together.
And that is for sure what will be happening.
Yeah, but then we'll cut the video to make it not like the 2 hours we spend like searching through my parts. We'll cut like a 10-minute video together out it, and then if I need to go to the shopping at cables and housings, we'll do that, then shoot another thing. But I was thinking that'd be a fun video to make. And I've never done the 700 to 650 conversion, which I think could be cool, and seeing what we could fit in there, and then seeing if like, can we put mountain cranks onto the road bikes? And, like, I don't know.
Sure.
There's so much stuff around here that I think it'd be really fun to do, but it would be such a pain in the ass to film that myself.
Yeah.
So.
What bike you talking about?
There's a Fuji Del Rey frame over there I have on the other side of this wall.
That grayish one?
Yeah. Did I give you that green mountain bike?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of that today. Then I was trying to remember who I gave that old Raleigh Huffy to. Did you take that too, or no? I gave that to someone else. Huh? I do these streams and someone's over here. I'm like, take the sweet bike, or take the shitty bike. It should be more accurate.
That frame, I was looking at the history on that frame. It was actually pretty sick.
Was that a Murray? Did it turn out to be?
I forget what it was, because it had a paint job. I have some tab up because it was all chromed out when they released it. Like, it's actually a pretty sick bike.
I felt like that was not a garbage bike. It was like,
no,
someone had resprayed it and it looked kind of gross, but it was
right.
Like, yeah. All those mountain bikes that guy gave me were nice, because the one's a Team Stump Jumper, the one I built up.
Uh-huh.
The other one was that very mid, like Gary Fisher, like early Trek ownership Gary Fisher, but Otis built that up for someone who's still riding it. And there's the one you took, and then there's that Alpine Stars, the aluminum one over here, which has some like real interesting features on it. So that's actually the one I was going to offer up to the guy who was trading me the wheels, and he was kind of like, the wheels aren't worth that bike, And I'm like, okay, what size T-shirt do you wear? So. What could possibly go wrong? That's what I kind of want to do, though, because, this is kind of what I was trying to describe earlier, as going from the mentality of being like an authority on bike stuff. Like, Pudgy, I know you have your disagreements, but you and Yonda actually are, because you worked in bike shops for years. Like, not pretending like that. Being like, I do know stuff. I do know how to do a 27-inch to 700 on a vintage road bike. I know vintage road bikes backwards and forwards, but they're so simple. It's not hard to remember, Whereas even 11-speed Shimano, how that front derailleur cable is routed, I don't know. When that thing breaks, I look at it and I'm like, I'm going to ask Yonda or Otis or Ben to fix this because I just don't deal with it that much. And so that would be the idea, but also behind doing the conversion of being like, I'm not pretending like I know how to do this. Like I'm like, just for other people who tinker with bikes and you have stuff and you're doing a, parts build, and I've built plenty of bikes myself, but it's the idea that I'm like not pretending to know everything. Like every time is almost like doing something new and being like, I'm not going to make something dangerous. I'm going to be like, wait, this doesn't quite go together right. I know this isn't working. I need to call Pudgy, call Yonda, ask them about this, like we used to do on the live streams on the Friday afternoons in the winter when I'd be like, is this working? And you guys are like, hey, idiot, don't put that crank arm on like that. You forgot the crank bolt, all that kind of thing. So, do we need a welfare check on Rick Yu? Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I'm blocked from his stuff or he's just not posting anything anymore. But yes, I would love to hear what Rick is up to. I miss him and I worry about him. So. Yeah, so Brian, a number of people had commented too about how 650 hits on road bikes. But again, like I watched a couple videos last night before I went to bed. But even the comments in the last video about like a 700 to 650 conversion were like totally different. Like someone was like, your bottom bracket will be way too low. You'll have pedal strike. If you go too wide on the tires, you'll have chainstay issues. And then other people saying the opposite. So I think it's like anything you do with vintage bikes, the frames have so much variance that there's no one true thing. And people will reach out to me still and be like, hey, I have this bike. How wide of tires can I fit if I put 700Cs on here? And I'm like, here's the unfortunate answer. You have to try. You have to try stuff. And if you only order stuff online, I don't know how to help you. I mean, start with 35s because none of my bikes that I've done that, like the 27 to 700 conversion, are the same. Some have got 40s, some have got 38s, and some, like my truck that I was just riding in the last video, that conversion only got me to 32s. So, yeah, there's just no real answer, and especially even so many companies used model names with completely different bikes over the years. So if you look at like, I say Schwinn World Sport and people will be like, oh, I have one of those. And I'll be like, yeah, but what year is it? Because the 1986 World Sport I built up for Aaron is not like other World Sports I've seen from different years. So same with Trek, the 500 that I have from 1983, I've seen other people's 500s from different years that are not spec the same at all. So, and then the touring versions of Trek, like the 520, is totally different bike. So, yeah, and Shufa, I do think too, going the other way, I would love to take like a 90s mountain bike that had 26-inch wheels and go up to 650B. That's what I was originally thinking of doing with the stump jumper, but at the time I was building that up, I'm like, you know what? Fellow Orange had sent me the utility bars, and I'm like, I'm just going to build this up in a fairly original way, but basically just switching out the bars. So, but yeah, going both ways. I think taking a road bike down to 650 and taking a 26-inch mountain bike up to 650 are both very interesting builds to make either of those bikes way more functional. So, Tim said, I did 700 to 650V conversion on a Truck 720, which is a touring bike, right? Yeah, it's 720. 32 millimeter max to 42 millimeter. You're saying that's all you got. I think that's a huge difference. I mean, keep in mind it lowers the BB and can lead to more pedal strike depending on the frame and cranks. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. But I feel like 42s would give you a pretty big change in diameter. I did see some numbers that 28 to 42 is the same or something like that. But I don't know. Going from 32s to 42s makes that a completely different bike that you could ride in completely different places, in my opinion. Because, like I said, my Truck 500 is 32s, and almost all my road bikes are, and my Peugeots and even my Viscount. But my gravel bike I rode on 42s, and to me, 42 is a completely different bike than a 32. So to me, that's a huge difference. Don't point at me. Yeah, so Pudgy, yeah, this would be a rim brake build, so that's why I was specific on the rim brakes. Yeah, exactly. Pudgy, me and Otis joke about it. We're like, all the people we know who disagree the most are the most similar people we know. No offense, if that offends you, but totally. Racer said, yeah, that's why I was thinking of Trek 720 because that was their touring bike, but I didn't know how wide it cleared, but I know that's a legendary bike with long stays, right? So it's really comfortable with the rear panniers. I believe the 720 was. Yeah, Pudgy, who's our buddy? I'm drawing a blank on his name. Down in Columbus, who works for Specialized. I think that's the bike he said he regrets selling the most was the Trek 720 because it was such a good touring bike. You go up to God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? I know you've gone up to Rays with him and stuff like that, but people who said 26 to 50, 650B is not much of a change. Yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good change. 26-inch wheels are small. They look small. When you see a 650 bike, it does not look like a 26-inch tire bike.
They look small.
Yeah. When I ride the Marin with everything bumped up, you can tell it's a 26-inch bike. I mean, granted, like, again, I'm riding big bikes, so. That's the other thing, too, Tim. I don't think I would have a problem even being a tall guy with shorter cranks. It just has been known shorter cranks are harder to find, but you had custom post brazed on to Paul racer calipers. Nice. I've heard other people saying that as one thing when you go down, if you could get someone to put post calipers help, but I think I did give Otis some of my longer reach brakes, so I'll be interested to see if I have any. When you're doing the 700 or 27 inch, and again, not 650B's 27 inch, the old school 27 inch to 700, most of those bikes were actually designed to do both. So you'll look in your brake, like the pads are in the middle of the slot in the caliper, and you have no problem. On my Trek 500, I actually just filed out some metal because I just needed to get a couple more millimeters to get the brakes down far as they could go. But on my other bikes, basically the pads just weren't all the way down in the calipers, and I just dropped them down to the 700 position because European bikes never had 27-inch wheels. That's an American thing. So when they designed them, the brake calipers had room for 700C. But yeah, going down to 650 is a different story on some bikes for sure. Some aftermarket front forks use different wheels than the frame does. Yeah. And I also find, like, usually on the front wheel, there's almost no limiting factor. Not no, but there you could go much wider. But if you do have a more modern brake caliper, the top could limit how wide you can go. I've had that problem. What bike did I build up? Oh, it's the blue Peugeot that I ride around with Edmund. I could fit 40s, I think, in the fork, but I realized it was rubbing on the top of the brake, and so I couldn't go that wide. But, thanks. Yeah, and that's one thing I forgot. When I upgraded the tires on the Raleigh, I was going to go even wider on the front because I have that carbon fork that's not stock, and I could go a little wider. But the rear, yeah, I always forget about the brake caliper. I always think of my tires being limited on road bikes by the chainstays, and that's where the smaller wheel size helps the most. But certain bikes, it will be the caliper that limits you more than the chainstays. In general, on road bikes, though, especially with shitty old like Diacomp brakes, yeah, it really is the chainstays way more than those old brakes. So Old Shimano U-brakes have the most reach of good U-brakes in your experience. Front fork is redundant. Good point, Michigan biker. It is. It absolutely is. We don't need to say front fork. Yeah. I don't need to say rear chain stays. You know. Tim said your 720 is an 82 and has 470 millimeter chain stays. Elijah, thank you, Pudgy. Sorry. God, I hate when I draw a blank like that, but it happens every week. The 720 is legendary and sought after, but a problem with it is the 531 tubing. Oh, you're saying it's too thin, so it's thin for putting a load on. It could feel too like sketchy, like, huh? Looking for comfort, lower back and hips issues. Experimenting is so much, yeah. Oh, Tim, you said you did a 26 to 650 conversion on your 1990 truck 990. Could fit 48 millimeter in ARS tires. Nice. Went back to 26 by 2.3s and like it a bit more. Yeah. Huh. Saying it's light frame, but not the best for loading up. Because I thought that was the whole point of the long stays. But yeah, if it's really thin. But yeah, maybe you balance it, right? So. Racer said you're looking for a good steel fork with clearance if anyone has one. I've got the original one on the Rally. Probably wouldn't fit anything that you're looking for, though. That's a disc fork. But yeah, I wonder if that would... No, I don't think that would fit in anything vintage, because that'd be cool to go disc in the front, you know.
That's just silly.
What's that?
That's just silly.
Maris has that on... What is his bike where he has calipers in the rear and disc in the front? I've seen it. It's been done. All right, we got to get out of here, don't we? What time is it? It's the middle of the night. How many people have to work in the morning? Bunch of fucking... Man, you guys are sending me all kinds of emails tonight. Kyle's texting me about the debate. God damn it. All right. Let's wrap this up. It's almost 11 o'clock. I said next week will be the bike picture stream. I'm sure there'll be a video about the Pittsburgh meetup. And if you are in Pittsburgh, someone mentioned they're like, I haven't met you in person. Like, am I welcome? That's the point of a channel meetup. I responded, let's get weird. I'm not like, you know, I'm sitting here in the basement with someone I've known forever. I am not the most outgoing person in the world, but when we got bikes around, I know I could be like, what are those wheels? What? Oh, you've got a truck. Oh, you've got a whatever. So, yeah. If you feel uncomfortable showing up to a bike thing, just ask somebody about their bike. Like, that's all you got to do. Ask someone about what their cap is. Like, you know, if you're socially awkward, we've already got something dramatically in common, just like when you work with someone. So, all right, guys, abort. Thanks for joining as always. This is a fun one, just a random chat. So, see you in the next one.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.